Hello, I'm Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic.com and welcome to all the WTF moments from the Raw after WrestleMania 36. And that was a professional wrestling show that happened, yes, nothing really in the way of monumental things happened on this show, but of course that's completely understandable with WWE's upcoming schedule a little more than uncertain. But that did not stop some silly bollocks happening, more on some really confusing stuff later in this video. And I've got to be honest with you, with WrestleMania weekend completely kicking my arse, having to stay up and watch the show live and then watch it again for WTF moments and then stay up live and then watch it again and then watch it again for WTF moments. I'm not with it today, so if I've missed a few WTF moments, I hold my hands up, I'm knackered. Hit the intro. WTF! But we kick things off with Tom Phillips claiming that beating Brock Lesnar in what he thought was, at the time, the main event of WrestleMania 36 was just the beginning of a very long night for Drew McIntyre. And when I heard that from Tom Phillips, I was thinking, yeah, Tom, obviously. Drew McIntyre has just lived out the boyhood dream. He's beaten Brock Lesnar in the main event, or so he thought, at the time of WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. Of course it's going to be a long night for Drew McIntyre. First of all, he's a wrestling fan. Second of all, he's won the main event at WrestleMania, man, Tom. And third of all, he's Scottish, which means he's going to celebrate that monumental victory with not just 25 bottles of Bucky, he's going to have a kebab and then 25 more bottles of Bucky. It's going to be a long night. In fact, I doubt very much so that Drew McIntyre has slept since his match against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 36 was recorded, and that was a very long time ago indeed. Bucky does that to you. But when Tom said this line at the start of the show, we didn't know what was coming at the end of the show, and with all that in mind about Drew McIntyre being Scottish and the Buckfast and whatnot, a WTF moment is had with the prospect of all that there being shown on television. I thought it would have been unbroadcastable, if that's even a word. And I guess with the sight of that match graphic there, we can mention the fact that supposedly automatic rematch clauses had been scrapped from WWE, but that suggests otherwise. But I think that would be missing the real point at hand here. Cast your minds back to WrestleMania 36 and think about the way Austin Theory lost that Raw Tag Team title match, and he's getting another shot. Are you sure, WWE? And Zelina Vega, you're a very wise lady, of course. You watched the way Austin Theory lost that match at WrestleMania 36, and you're not kicking that Nick from Big Mouth looking heat to the curb. Are you sure as well, Zelina Vega? I don't know if it's just me, but the way Austin Theory lost that match was a bloody disgrace, I tell you. A disgrace, in the words of Didier Drogba. And question here, why is Zelina Vega in her ring gear here? I mean, of course, when it comes to Zelina Vega and her clothes, it's bad enough when she's managing somebody and she comes out wearing those flat-bottomed pirate boot thingies, because that's a telltale sign she's going to get involved in the proceedings. But here, we're taking things to a different level. She never ever wears her ring gear unless, of course, she's having a professional wrestling match, which is something that happens once every blue moon. And clearly, she could not be involved in a match where the Raw Tag Team titles are on the line, so why is Zelina Vega in her gear? And more to the point, why were the commentators on Raw completely oblivious to the fact that Zelina Vega was in her wrestling gear when she wasn't booked to wrestle? They must fancy Angel Garza more than I do. And then we have Tom Phillips claiming those two superstars there were fantastic at WrestleMania last night. And I'm sorry if it's just me thinking this, but the way that Austin Theory lost that match to a pinfall being broken up, of course, that was as rough as a badger's arse, man, Tom. Do not ask me how I know how rough badger's arses. Anyway, you hear Tom Phillips say that, and I'm thinking to myself, well, Gareth Southgate had a fine game in that semi-final of Euro 96, but that's not the reason he got a Pizza Hut commercial. If you know, you know. Now I've got to be honest with you, I've written down EE on my script here in relation to the noise Montez Ford made, but I can't remember exactly what noise Montez Ford made, so yeah. We're speaking about that noise, whatever that noise sounded like. But speaking about that noise, Byron Saxton claims that he doesn't know what he's just heard, but he likes it. And again, back to me script, I've written down Byron likes the noise that is similar to that of a distressed Yorkshire Terrier. Byron, you sick freak, which means the noise that came out of Montez Ford's mouth must have sounded a little bit like this. And a quick shout out, of course, to the Performance Centre's biggest fan. Didn't stop working all weekend, and I doubt WWE paid them a penny for doing all that hard work. The world needs more people like the Performance Centre's biggest fan, and it would be a much wonderfuler place, wouldn't it? A much wonderfuler place. I'm good at English, me.
Yep, I wrong. Yep, I wrong.
Direct quote from Byron Saxton this time when he says, you think that after being a tag team for just a week, you can become Raw Tag Team Champions? Unheard of. How many times have we seen big rivals who couldn't possibly get along and other assorted tag teams who are together for one night only win the tag team championships so early in their run together? I'll tell you, Byron, loads.
Dun. We're
teleporting again. 1 second Austin Theory is near, 1 second Zelina Vega is near, and 1 second Angel Garza is near, and the very next second they're all near. And once again, more and more WWE superstars appear to have been birthed from the same supernatural loins that The Undertaker and Bray Wyatt came out of. It's really weird, isn't it? And a really shocking coinky dink. How on earth did WWE keep finding these witches? And speaking about coinky dinks, wow! Zelina Vega being dressed in her professional wrestling gear when she had no reason to be dressed in her professional wrestling gear. What a stroke of luck for WWE. How well did all this pan out? And that's because, as we all saw, Zelina Vega ended up having a professional wrestling match against Bianca Belair, when, you know, if she was just wearing her normal ringside attire that she wears on 99.9% of her Raw outings, she probably wouldn't have had to have that match and probably wouldn't have had her arse handed to her. It's just weird how conveniently all that worked out. However, man, WWE, you're better than that. And a question now for referee John Cone. First of all, John, how powerful are your testicles to produce Nicholas? I don't know why I've just done that. And second of all, why the hell did you throw out that match between Zelina Vega and Bianca Belair when Big Terry Ford and Austin Theory rolled into the ring, but crucially didn't touch the people who were having the match at the time? Football matches don't get called off when a streaker invades the pitch, do they? All that happens is security guards come down and make themselves look like massive numpties as they slide arse over tit. That was a really rash call from you, John. Are you okay? I'm not okay. Oh. Now I know that none of you at home will care. I certainly don't, but I've got to mention it because if I don't, you'll call me nasty names, and I can't deal with that today. But we're seeing highlights of Bobby Lashley versus Aleister Black from WrestleMania 36. We're showing that freeze frame there of Lana and some voiceover bits with Lana saying things like, "Yay, Bobby, do the things. Kill him, Bobby. End him, Bobby. Bobby. But crucially, and what is the WTF moment here, they failed to play the single bit of audio that played into the end of that match. As we all saw, Bobby had Aleister up. Bobby looked like he might be going on to win the match. And then Lana's like, no, don't do that move. Do the spear instead. That'll be better. And then that ended up costing Bobby the match and made him very angry indeed. But I'm just wondering, when you're painting the picture of that match for people who haven't seen it, why wouldn't you play the bit of audio that played into the finish of this match? Nobody cares about. It would appear that WWE themselves don't even care about this match. Riddle me this. If we can still hear the commentators, but the commentary table has indeed vanished, how the f does that happen? And this is an exciting acquisition for Monday Night Raw, claimed Tom Phillips when he was speaking about Apollo Crews. And nothing against Apollo Crews, he's a very talented man. He can do all the flips. But what the hell has Tom Phillips seen over the past 5 years, no less, to suggest that Apollo Crews is a very exciting signing for Monday Night Raw? And we've got to mention this nonsense about draft picks expiring. Apollo Crews, believe it or not, was a SmackDown superstar until this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, where his SmackDown status, his SmackDown contract, had expired and Raw picked him up because he was a free agent. But upon hearing this shocking revelation, I was thinking to myself, all the drafts took place at the exact same time, didn't they? So why are some drafts expiring now and others aren't? They just make it up as they go along, don't they? Oh, me craps! They showed it again, but this time in slow motion. And with some dramatic music on top of it. And it's still a massive nope. It's still a massive nope. Sweep that under the same carpet where Mr. Benoit himself lives, man. Ricochet trying to wipe out Oney Lorcan when Ricochet was trying to wipe out Danny Burch. Danny Burch trying to break up the pin when Danny Burch himself was doing the pin. Why would he break up his own pin, Tom Phillips? And I have come to the rather shocking and sobering conclusion that Tom Phillips is racist against all bald men. And so then we get to the bollocks that happened after WrestleMania 36 went off the air. And no, contrary to what I believed at the start of last night's Raw, we did not see Big Daddy Drew McIntyre painting the town orange because of Iron Brew. We saw him doing another entrance and walking back down to the ring where he must have just come from, because of course he had just beaten Brock Lesnar in the main event of WrestleMania 36 Night 2. And I'm left asking why? Why would he walk backstage only to walk back down to the ring again so he could have another entrance? How heelish of babyface Drew McIntyre. How egotistical of a humble, happy man. What a prick he might not be. That was weird. And then it was clear the LSD we all took while watching that Firefly Funhouse thing had not completely worn off as a really slender and small Big Show appeared. Honestly, he is small. Look at him stood next to Drew McIntyre. I can't remember Drew McIntyre being billed as 7 feet tall ever. Can you? And what's more is the fact that true to form, the Big Show turned heel once again in WWE. Yes, the last time we saw the Big Show on our television screens, it was back in January when he was helping babyfaces Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe in 6-man tag team action, and he comes out harassing a referee, demanding things he should never be getting. He's a heel once again, but it's the Big Show. Can it really be a WTF moment? It feels like it should be, but it isn't really, is it? It's just what he does. He's always confused. But the Big Show, the star of Netflix's Big Show show, which makes him the #1 contender for the WWE Championship through reasons like exposure alone. It's not good enough, is it? He arrived to the ringside area with his little referee pal and gave us shades of WrestleMania 9 as he wormed his way into a WWE Championship match. Yes, we got another impromptu main event after the main event of WrestleMania 36 Night 2, meaning that unofficially, the Big Show main evented WrestleMania 36. I know what you're thinking. That match didn't take place officially as a part of the WrestleMania 36 card, but it happened on WrestleMania 36 night. Us on Raw were watching stuff from the past and not stuff that should have just happened on Raw. The new champion walks out, a challenger walks out, they have an impromptu match. That's Raw after WrestleMania 101, is it not? Why was this billed as if it was taking place after WrestleMania 36? That's where it all fell flat on its arse. It just didn't make any sense. Have it happen on Raw. That makes sense. But the Big Show, the star of that show, which is clearly for kids, said S-H-I-T, sugar, honey, hi Santi. And quite frankly, Big Show, star of Netflix's Big Show show, you're blighting the kids of tomorrow. You're blighting the future of this planet. So up yours and yeah, profanity.
Yep, I wrong. Yep, I wrong.
And we end things with Byron Saxton claiming he's never seen anything like a WWE champion defending their title about 20 minutes after winning it, completely forgetting the fact that Hulk Hogan did exactly the same as the Big Show just about at WrestleMania 9 after Yokozuna took the title off of Bret Hart. So up yours, Byron, for not knowing some things. I've been Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic.com. I'm really sorry about the state of this video, but I am dying, having not slept for 3 days. Thank you once again for watching all of our WrestleMania 36 related content. Quite frankly, we'd be lost without you. I love you. I'm away to sleep for several days. Tatty bye, everyone.